President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Sahle-Work Zewde, said Ethiopia is firmly committed to women's peace and security agendas. President Sahle-Work made the remark at the preparatory meeting on women's peace and security being held at the conference hall of the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa in Finland City, Ethiopia. In her opening remark, the President underscored the commitment of Ethiopia to enhance the participation of women in peacekeeping missions of the United Nations, according to the Office of the President. Ethiopia has deployed more than 600 women soldiers in peacekeeping missions of the UN, said the President. She also emphasized that any peacekeeping mission should give priority for the protection of women and other vulnerable groups. President Sahle-Work urged mainstreaming of women participation in peacekeeping missions require effective coordination among the stakeholders. President of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Sahle-Work Zewde, received and held talks with German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, who is in Ethiopia for a 4-day official visit. German President Steinmeier said Germany loves to support the reform process in Ethiopia. Olma Baina, the story.
President Sahle-Work Zewde warmly welcomed German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier at the National Palace. They discussed the ways of enhancing relations between the two countries in the areas of trade, investment and other business sectors. President Sahle-Work Zewde said that the visit of the President of Federal Democratic Republic of Germany is very crucial.
I particularly underlined the visit of the President to our country. I underlined the fact that it is not only vital, but very timely.
His visit helps to further strengthen the historical relations between Ethiopia and Germany, which dates back to 1900, she added. President Sahle-Work stated that they discussed ways of boosting the relations in terms of trade, investment and people-to-people relations. She expressed Ethiopia's commitment to work closely with the government of Germany in the regional peace and security issues in partnership with German Security Headquarters in African Union. German President Steinmeier, on his part, appreciated the ongoing reform in Ethiopia and a parity of women in the cabinet. He added that the nomination of half of women in the cabinet promotes women's participation in political arena of the country. He stated that the reform sent a message across Africa and will correct the image of the continent in terms of politics and development to the rest of the world. The reform undergoing in Ethiopia creates new opportunities and a potential for enhancing bilateral relations between Germany and Ethiopia, he noted. Germany supported the reform in the country in terms of giving vocational training for the youth and investment in different sectors of the country. In the last 50 years, Germany has been supporting incentives in education, health, technical and vocational trainings and biodiversity. Currently, there are 35 German companies in Ethiopia engaged in different investment areas.
Last October, Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed visited Berlin and Frankfurt of Germany and discussed a lot of things with Chancellor of the country, Angela Merkel. And now the President, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, visiting Ethiopia. By the way, Steinmeier was born in 1956 and has studied law and political science at the University of Gießen, and now President of the country. Prime Minister Dr. Abiy Ahmed received the President of Germany, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, and his delegation, who are currently visiting Ethiopia. The Prime Minister appreciated the German government's long-term and consistent technical and vocational support to Ethiopia. He shared the 3 pillars of the current reforms as being grounded in individuals, ideas, and institutions. President Steinmeier, on his part, acknowledged the elevation of Ethiopia-German relations to reforms, cooperation, and confirmed the strengthening of these relations. The President will be meeting with civil society representatives and prominent Ethiopians advocating political change, from whom he will be hearing about current developments in the country, undergoing reforms and a social opening. He will also visit a vocational training institute and meet with members of the business community. In the north of the country, he will visit the rock-hewn churches at Lalibela, which are a UNESCO World Heritage Site. President Steinmeier served his country in the military in 1974 to 1976. The Ethiopian Investment Commission and the Volkswagen Group have signed a memorandum of understanding that enables the latter to set up an automotive industry in Ethiopia. The visiting German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier and Ethiopia's Minister of Finance Ahmed Shide witnessed the signing ceremony in the Ethiopian capital Finfinne. Volkswagen will focus on 4 key pillars: the establishment of a vehicle assembly facility, localization of automotive components, introduction of mobility concepts such as app-based car sharing and ride-hailing, as well as the opening of a training center. As such, Volkswagen will work closely with the Ethiopian higher education and training institutions for skills development and capacity building of local talents. Ethiopia becomes the 3rd country in sub-Saharan Africa to sign a memorandum of understanding with Volkswagen. It follows Ghana and Nigeria, who both signed a memorandum of understanding with Volkswagen in August 2018. Volkswagen, a wonderful brand like Mercedes in Germany, based there, and BMW also. President Sahle-Work Zewde and Deputy Mayor of Finfinne City, Takala Uma Benti, are recognized with World Top Award by European Tourism Academy. Fukadu Brahanu at the details.
President of Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia, Sahle-Work Zewde, anointed as a European academician. Ethiopia's President Sahle-Work Zewde has received the honorary membership of European Tourism Academy for visionary leadership. The official offering of the academic regalia will take place during World Tourism and Travel Award ceremony to be held in Finfinne in February 2019. The international recognition comes in the wake of the Global Tourism Institution's European Council on Tourism and Trade decision to recognize Finfinne, the capital of Ethiopia and the seat of African Union, as receiver of the World Capital of Culture and Tourism designation. Finfinne is today the home of a vast array of religious sites like St. George Cathedral, Holy Trinity Cathedral, a vast medieval archaeological site on Entoto Mountain, more than 8 museums encompassing millenniums of history and ethnographic and historical artifacts of incomparable beauty and richness. According to Global Tourism Institution, President Sahle-Work Zewde is being honored for her visionary leadership through a policy of cooperation with Finfinne government and the Mayor Office in promoting the nation's values and international standing and supporting the development of sustainable tourism, wildlife conservation and economic development, recognizing tourists and investment, resulting in the remarkable turnaround that has led to Finfinne rise as one of the leading tourism destinations in Africa today. Another personality that will be recognized alongside President Sahle-Work Zewde is Mayor of Finfinne. Engineer Takala Uma was elected as a member of European Tourism Academy for creating a perfect development team with the nation's President Office and for his visionary policies that envisioned Finfinne as a melting pot not only for all citizens of Ethiopia, regardless of a region or social class, but for all citizens of the world that want to come to invest and build a new Finfinne. Finfinne is conceived by his administration as a microcosm of our rainbow nation, bubbling with all kinds of diversity, ethnic, cultural, spiritual, and economy. A melting point where Ethiopia's many cultures meet and intersect. It is also our primary gateway to the world and Africa's undisputed diplomatic capital. This is how Engineer Takala Uma had envisioned Finfinne's future. This vision was compensated now with the city proclaimed as World Capital of Culture and Tourism and hosting the Africa's World Tourism and Travel Awards. Inaugurated in 2000, the European Council on Tourism and Trade sponsored World Tourism and Travel Award, recognized outstanding leaders and nations, organizations, destinations for remarkable initiatives related to the travel and tourism industry and in fostering sustainable tourism and developing programs that give back to local communities. They are awarded on 2 categories for the leading national tourism destinations, World-Based Tourism Destination Award, and for leading cities in cultural and historical preservation, World Capital of Culture and Tourism.
President Sahle-Work Zewde was born in Finfinne City, the capital, and Engineer Takala Uma, deputy mayor, was born in Ambo. And he's the youngest mayor of that big city, which is the seat of many diplomatic missions and embassies, the capital of Oromia regional state, the capital of Ethiopia, and also seat of the African headquarters. Ethiopian ambassadors to different countries said the ongoing reform in Ethiopia has been promoting the profile of the country to the highest level. The ambassadors said that the political reform has brought an enabling environment for Ethiopian diplomats, which is generating a lot of support from the international community. Olkabandumu has more.
Speaking to Ethiopian news agency, the ambassador said that the political reforms that brought an enabling environment for Ethiopian diplomats, which is generating a lot of support from the international community. Ambassador Taye Atqesulase, Ethiopia's permanent representative to the UN, said Ethiopia is trying to harmonizing its foreign diplomacy with the range of reform at home, focusing on how the country cooperate with the rest of the world.
As a matter of fact, over the last 9 months, the political landscape of Ethiopia has significantly changed. That by itself has generated a lot of support from the international community, and the political development that has been going on in Ethiopia has indeed promoted the profile of Ethiopia to the highest level.
He added that Ethiopia has recently emphasized cooperation at the heart of its foreign policy that enables to work with other countries at regional, continental and global level.
We have covered in it a wide area of cooperation, not only in the international community, but the major focus is by and large on how we can collaboratively work with our neighboring countries. Indeed, it is one of the major focus of our foreign policy and foreign relationship.
Ambassador Taye called on Ethiopia's ambassadors and diplomats to properly highlight the interest of the country abroad. Mulu Solomon, newly appointed Ethiopian ambassador to Germany, said there were a lot of load in the past for Ethiopian diplomats due to human rights abuses at home.
Previously, Ethiopia was blamed for human rights abuse, and that was really mostly making shame on our ambassadors. No ambassador can dare to speak in front of the diaspora, in front of other people. Since all the prisoners are out, all the oppositions are invited to come home and to air their wish or what they want to do to discuss with the existing government, so that any ambassador to represent Ethiopia and talk in front of the diaspora, in front of foreigners, will be proud.
Ethiopia's national interests have been completely redefined to focus on the country's economic diplomacy that would allow regional, continental and global integrations. In this regard, Ambassador Mulu said that the philosophy behind Ethiopia's foreign policy is quite clear, that diplomatic activities should serve the economic agenda of the country through attracting foreign direct investment together with nurturing advancing democracy. Ethiopia's ambassador to USA, Fisum Aragga, said the ongoing sweeping reform has brought optimism that the new development, particularly in the Horn and generally in Africa. According to Fisum, Ethiopia is revising its foreign policy that the reform and global politics and diplomatic order taken into account. He added that Ethiopia's foreign policy gives emphasis to economic diplomacy, that he hopes most of ambassadors will exert maximum effort to attract foreign direct investment.
We have to maximize the relationship between the two countries, in this case the US and Ethiopia, and also work for better cooperation to result in more support, attracting tourism, and also accessing funds for different projects in the form of could be grants or loans.
Welcome back. Now to the news from Southern Africa. Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa has said he is appalled by an attack by security officials on a protest that was featured in a TV news report. His statement comes after widespread criticism of the way security forces have handled recent protests. Mr. Mnangagwa said he has ordered the arrest of those behind the attack seen in the Sky News report. His condemnation has received a mixed reaction, with some calling him uninformed. The state-funded Zimbabwe Human Rights Commission has accused soldiers of using systematic torture in the crackdown on protesters. It has strongly criticized the authorities for using troops to kill demonstrations. There have also been reports of a number of deaths. The report by Sky News shows a handcuffed man being pulled away from a van by a soldier and at least one police officer. He is then seen being repeatedly beaten around the head by one of the officials. President Mnangagwa said on Twitter that this was not the Zimbabwean way. Arrest broke out a fortnight ago following more than doubling in fuel prices, making it the most expensive fuel in the world, according to globalpetrolprices.com. The continuing violence raises further questions about President Mnangagwa's control over the military, which helped bring him to power 14 months ago, the BBC reported. Emerson Mnangagwa came to power through almost equivalent to coup, but Robert Gabriel Mugabe was his boss and he was his aide in 1987 on security, and now president of the country. Thank you for watching. Have a good time. Bye-bye.
Asham jenne salamata barediti mashojma Asham jenne salamata barediti mashojma chimba badabuna lalam bareduma yade musaka nabusi baraka chimba badabuna lalam bareduma yade musaka nabusi baraka oson sida wadu aduna tidide malwaya mashoko jalala namite oson sida wadu aduna tidide malwaya mashoko jalala namite waya 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 jalala mashoko si budengala waya 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 jalala mashoko si budengala Gana mabarisa kana kasu yada ke kana rasu ina pisine gajma tuma ino lingu yajma amina galo ke kami bada jalalo amina galo ke kami bada jalalo Asham jenne salamata barediti mashojma Asham jenne salamata barediti mashojma chimba badabuna lalam bareduma yade musaka nabusi baraka chimba badabuna lalam bareduma yade musaka nabusi baraka daawwadhu aduu naatti dhiite maal wayya maashoko jaalalaa namiite. Osoon si daawwadhu aduu naatti dhiite maal wayya